Welcome in to Bull versus Bear. Well, let's go into our next segment, our best bets section.
Best bets.
Best bets.
There we go. All righty. So starting out hot here with the Las Vegas Raiders at Tennessee. Now they're favored by 2 points. Now these are both 0-2 teams, so they're playing for their lives, their playoff lives. 0-3 teams don't make the playoffs. Now, Tennessee just hasn't shown up. I have no confidence in their passing game. I mean, their receivers are absent. They haven't gotten their rookie involved.
Yeah, they got to get
Bobby
Burks
Trees
involved.
Yeah, and Bobby Trees is just lost in the woods somewhere. Like, what's going on? Even Henry. I mean, Henry's seeming old. He's kind of like, he's kind of like always been a little bit of a trotting back, but man, he seems a little slow, and he's just not punishing the defense like he used to.
No.
So I mean, and even if you get Derrick Henry going, and Tennessee has to rely on that running game, even if they get an early lead somehow, Las Vegas is by far the more explosive offense. I mean, you've got Devontae Adams and Carr, and I mean, Las Vegas should not be an 0-2 right now. They should have won that game against Arizona, which went to overtime, and then they put up a really good fight against the Chargers. So, I mean, these are two good teams, and Tennessee is not. This spread should be higher. Getting it under 3 is like free money to me. I am hammering this Las Vegas Raiders -2 against Tennessee. Now, surprisingly, only 50% of the money is on this. So, again, it's not quite a contrarian play, but I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked that more people aren't on this. I mean, you can see with your eyes that Las Vegas is by far a better team, and Carr is a much better quarterback. They've got better wide receivers. Their running game is, a committee, and it's not great, but I think they have more, utility
Josh
than
Jacobs has looked pretty good this year so far.
It's not bad. Yeah,
not bad.
I mean, I think Hilliard's going to be back, so they'll have another passing game option. But Henry just hasn't looked good. So what we saw last year was Carr showing up when it mattered, when it was like when his back was against the wall, when all the stuff, all the really like the catastrophe of news that happened, he rallied for it. So he's a gutsy, back against your wall kind of player, and this is that game. So I see Carr having a great night, and I see Adams going off.
Yeah, I think they're going to be over that 45.5 game total.
Yeah. Well, surprisingly this year, this is what I wanted to bring up, is more than the unders have been paying 68% of the time, which is unheard of. Like if you go back 40, 50 years, the highest percentage difference is 58%. So this is a huge issue with how the bookies are calling games right now. They're putting their lines too high. I think they're going to start coming down, but it's going to be a slow, methodic thing. So I'm a little bit afraid of overs right now. I'm more looking for under values, but yeah, if you're an unders or over under player, look out for them. I think there's some value out there for sure. I'm more of a spread player. I like. It's not as I kind of do this a lot for enjoyment. Like there is definitely a monetary component, but I think that there's a lot more fun for me betting when it's against a spread versus a point total, because it's just so last minute. Anything can change. It's like last night's ending where the Browns got the touchdown on the very last play, and it I mean, people lost a ton of money. Off of just a really wild defensive touchdown that shouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
Like, what were they? They were just like, I don't want the ball. They're going backwards. They're not even going for it. It was just so desperate.
Yeah. And I love seeing Pittsburgh in that situation. It's like the best thing ever. I was so giddy. And yet
Brownie the Elf looked good last night. Yep.
Oh yeah. Hey, check it out. I found
the Hobgoblin.
Shirt. He's a hobgoblin. Like that.
Yeah.
Hobgoblin.
Has a lightsaber and everything. That's part of the.
This is a brewery in England.
Nice.
That's called the Witchwood Brewery. This is the Hobgoblin. This was one of their special dark beers, so they
Nice.
made him a dark
That's pretty cool.
Jedi. Or
Welcome to the dark side. All right. So are you with me on this Las Vegas -2 take?
yes,
It's,
I think
it's
they're
at
going to win
Tennessee.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Henry is going to try to be better, but he might be done.
And even if he is better, I believe in the Las Vegas offense. I mean, their pass catchers are just by far better, and they can come from behind easily. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. Now,
Yeah,
my
I
next
think
game is a very
Tannehill
sorry.
is washed at this point. And we're
I mean,
going to
he's
probably
just not getting
see
his-
Willis like soon.
I hope so. How can you not get Bobby Trees involved? Like, is he hurt? Is he really hurt? I mean, I know he was hurt last year and is coming back from an injury, but
I mean, yeah,
it doesn't look
those
that bad
kind
on
of
the field.
was it ACL? That
was a
those
knee injury,
injuries
yeah.
are, sometimes when you're an older player, it's really hard to come back from.
Yeah. So I see the only way I see them winning this game is if they get Treylon Burks heavily involved and Henry goes off. So
Yeah,
if you want to put a bunch of money on Las Vegas -2 and then hedge with, some props around Burks and Henry, I'd go for that.
Right on.
So my next game is a huge contrarian play, and I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why it's contrarian. It's we've got New Orleans -2.5 at Carolina. Now, 40% of the people are on this, but only 14% of the money. Like, what's going on here? Is there something that I don't know? Like, New Orleans, like less than a -3 number against Carolina, which is an awful team. Baker's been awful. McCaffrey hasn't been getting involved like he used to because Baker doesn't throw to the running back that much.
Right.
I mean, you've got DJ Moore not getting involved, Robbie Anderson getting lucky with some, downfield throws. But New Orleans got a stout defense. I don't think they're going to let them get away with that. I think they're really going to protect. They're probably going to play cover 2, really protect the deep ball and, shut down their running game. But Alvin Kamara is going to be back. Chris Olave has been looking great. Like, I think that Chris Olave is going to get heavy usage. I'm very bullish on him in this game.
And Michael Thomas is a top 10 wide receiver right now.
Yeah. And Jameis isn't looking bad. Like, he hasn't been throwing all these crazy interceptions. Like,
with his broken back, like, that's a little worrying.
Yeah. And I think that I think the reason the line is so low on this and so many people are against New Orleans is because they saw that Tampa Bay game. And, I mean, Lattimore didn't get suspended. It was only Mike Evans. So Lattimore's going to be there. I mean, and Tampa Bay's got a much stouter defense than people give them credit for. So I see New Orleans running away with this one. I think -2.5 is a great value. The line should be higher. And I don't know where the money's going. I don't know how you can put money on Baker Mayfield right now. Like,
yeah,
what the hell?
Coming from Cleveland, like, oh man, no, he's not playing. He's making us look good.
Yeah, for real. It's like a good decision at this point. I mean, I'd take Brissett over Mayfield almost. But I digress. Are you fading the money with me on this one?
Yes, I agree. Yep, I think New Orleans is going to rock it, especially with Alvin coming back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a game changer for sure. So
maybe he'll score 6 touchdowns this weekend.
Yeah.
You never know.
The Christmas Day miracle.
Oh, that I lost a championship because of that. No,
I won a championship because of that.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah. So this next game here is my game of the week. I want to watch this game again, but I think it's going to be as interesting as people think. I'm going for the under here as well, which is, surprisingly low, 42. And honestly, that's the magic number because that's 3 touchdowns for both teams. So it's it's a tough one to get off of.
It's also the magic number in that book series, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's the answer to the universe.
The universe. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you can't know the question and the answer. So, so the game that I'm talking about here is Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. Battle of the Bays. So I'm favoring Tampa Bay here -1.5, even though Brady's, looking haggard, looking like he's going through some crap, even though he's missing all of his count like his best wide receivers, his trustable core.
Mm-hmm.
I think their defense is going to shut down Rodgers. Rodgers has historically done really poorly in Tampa Bay. He's got 11 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And if you know Rodgers, he doesn't really throw interceptions that often. He has usually one of the best ratios in the league.
Yeah.
So there's something about playing in Tampa. I think
it's the humidity.
They've got his number too. I think they have a good defensive read on their offense. I think they can basically counter a lot of their go-tos. And essentially, I mean, their passing game hasn't been great. Rodgers hasn't been great. They don't have the receiving core. Lazard is coming back from injury, and he hasn't been the all-star that I hoped he would be. Tonyan hasn't been catching touchdowns. He hasn't really been targeted in the end zone. So their bread and butter has been A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
Right.
And Tampa Bay's defense has some solid linebackers that will really prevent them getting outside and breaking away those big runs.
Yeah.
So I see this Tampa Bay team dominating Green Bay defensively, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping Fournette goes off. I think that there's some solid chances there. I know they have a depleted offensive line, but Brady, has shown his ability to mitigate that and get the ball out fast when he needs to. So I'm looking at Fournette to come out big, and then I'm keeping an eye on Beasley and Perriman. I might throw in some parlays, just to make this, seemingly uninteresting game a little bit more uninteresting. And here I'm favoring the under. I would like to buy an extra couple points, but it doesn't make it worth it at that. So if the over under drops below 42, I'm completely staying away from the under. It's a really important number there. But yeah,
I completely agree with you. I think that it's going to be, as much as it's a Brady versus Rodgers game, I think it's a Aaron Jones versus Leonard Fournette game, and that the running backs are going to be very important. Having Dillon to back up Jones is definitely something that favors Green Bay, but I think with that defense, they're not going to do as well as Fournette is going to. So I agree with you.
And the Green Bay defense is
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And the Green Bay defense is not as good as New Orleans. They don't.
No, they're not. You mean Tampa
They don't
Bay.
have Clay Matthews. It's been years since they've had a really good defensive pass rush.
Right. The singing blonde stallion. Yeah.
Taking 10. Viking madman. I'm taking Tampa Bay minus 1.5 there. So my next game, this is a chalky play. A lot of people are on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Kansas City minus 5.5 at Indianapolis.
Can you explain to our listeners what chalky means?
Chalky means a lot of people are on this. So 70% of the public is on it. It's a very common play. I think, I'm trying to remember where the term derives from, but basically a lot of, like, if you're a weightlifter and you chalk up and you have your hands on something and then another person, it's just chalk builds up. I don't really know, but the point is a lot of people are on this, and I think for good reason. Now, last year and the previous couple of years, when Kansas City has been getting spreads over a touchdown, over one score spreads, they never hit it. I'm always against the spread. But this minus 5.5 is a really sweet target. I think anything below 6 is a value here. Now, Mahomes has been looking great. He struggled a little bit last week, but still got the victory. I think that, and they dominated in the first week. So what we've been noticing with Mahomes is he struggles against cover 2 defenses. That kind of shuts down the deep pass. But Indianapolis has been rocking a cover 3, and Mahomes feasts against cover 3. Like, look at last year against Las Vegas, who played a cover 3 defense against him. He just destroyed them and pretty much changed the course of the season for him because he got that confidence back. I see this as a smash spot for Kansas City. Indianapolis has been looking like haggard. Ryan is just old and busted. He's very overrated. He's home in a dome, which is the only time that he really performs. But I just don't. I'm not a big fan of Ryan. I Pity is Michael Pittman.
Man,
Is
cross my
recovering from an
fingers he's
injury.
back this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if he's there, they can just shut him down. And then their other receiving corps is just like it's Ashton Doolin and Paris Campbell. It's Kylan Granson. It's like a bunch of not very talented, low to mid volume receivers who might be a value in really deep leagues, but they're not going to help you win a ball game.
Right.
The only real asset on their team is, obviously their running back. Taylor is next level, and the only way that they would win is by running the ball and trying to keep Kansas City off the field. But Kansas City has shown when that happens, they just throw it deep, and if they're playing cover 3, they're going to have the deep shots open. So I don't see Kansas City.
But who's going to catch that? Kelsey can't catch everything, and they're past. Oh man, it's been
Juju Smith-Schuster. He's got the short game. MVS has been really crap,
mediocre.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Sky Moore has been where.
He could end up having a breakout game, but I know Mahomes is going to get it done.
Exactly. That's what I'm counting on here, and right. I think that there's a lot of he knows how to get it done. I think Mahomes is.
He's a player who changes the game, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm taking Kansas City minus 5.5, 58% of the money, 70% of the people. Usually when it's a negative difference, it's a caution flag, but I think this is a smash spot for Kansas City by far. So that wraps it up for my best bets. Anything to add, or are we going to move right into leans?
I've got the Dolphins covering the 6 point, plus 6 points. I think that's very possible that they could stay in the game, but it's an iffy one because the defense for the Buffalo Bills is just awesome, and I think
Allen's
that the
Bengals fire,
they've been on fire. I really like Tua and Hill and Waddle, and I think they're doing really good. So it's very possible. I wouldn't put very much money on that, but I would make the bet. I also like the Bengals to be over the 4.5 that they're minus 4.5. I think they're going to turn it on in this game and take down the win because I believe that Joe Burrow, once he has his back up against the wall, is going to be the difference maker, and something's going to happen. He's not going to lie down in the corner. That guy's going to go out kicking and screaming. So I think you're going to have some fireworks.
If his offensive line doesn't show up like they haven't, I think he's just going to get out of the pocket and start trying to force some plays.
Right.
And he's got the receivers to, ad lib essentially. I'm a little bit wary about that because I really just haven't seen it from his offensive line. I'm just, sketched out by that. He's just been sacked and just been completely demolished and pressured into throwing interceptions every game. And with Miami, I think there's this cognitive bias of recency bias of seeing them just completely go off with Hill and Waddle. I don't think that's going to happen every week. I think they're next level talent, but I think expecting that to happen against the Bills defense is not something I would bet on necessarily. But I see where you're going here. I think it's going to be a close game.
The Dolphins defense is underrated a little bit.
Totally.
So they could keep the score more level. I think the under is totally possible in this game, and they could keep it within one score. So that's where I'm coming from.
I just haven't seen Allen get challenged really or stopped, and
right.
It's been a while. I think he's just on fire. He's a juggernaut right now that I'm afraid to bet against. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm so happy that in my 2 QB league, I've got Allen and Hurts as my quarterbacks. Just like,
oh man,
yeah, juggernauts.
Yeah,
awesome,
solid. All right, so let's move on into leans. So I'm going to start this off with my Detroit Lions here.
Woo!
Getting a 6 point bonus against Minnesota, the Lions have been keeping games close. When they get knocked down, they're using that grit. It's not 2000 grit. It's not smooth at all. It's more like 50-60 grit, but they're getting it done. They're eroding the defense slowly and coarsely, but they're getting it done. I think that Minnesota has been showing some offensive struggle. I think that the adjustment of the new offensive play style it just hasn't set well with everybody. If you saw Cousins' interview during, like, I think it was the first game or during a preseason game, he was basically like, yeah, we had a good system and now we're changing it. Cool. It's like you get a new boss at work and he just wants to change everything. And it's like, it was going smoothly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, why change everything? It never works out good.
Yeah. So, but the Lions don't have a great cornerback group. So if they might try to shut down Justin Jefferson, but I don't know if they'll be able to. Minnesota hasn't been getting Thielen involved at all. They haven't really been getting KJ Osborne involved. Irv Smith has been getting some work. I expect this to, Irv Smith to get some good work this game. But they've just been disappointing, honestly. And Dalvin Cook needs to have a breakout game, I think, or another great game.
Yeah, I feel like the expectation for them was warranted. It wasn't based on hyperbole. It was, amazing that they've just not shown up.
Yeah. Again, they had a great thing and then they changed it to something that's supposed to be greater, but it takes some time to get used to. I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I think they've got a lot of talented players. So that the +6 is the reason I'm taking the Lions here, because go back and look at the games they lose by, and they're usually one-score games. It's
absolutely.
I would probably say, it's Lions +6, Minnesota to still win. But I think Hutchinson is going to be a key playmaker too. If he can get to Kirk
beast,
Cousins,
man.
I'm so happy.
Scored a excellent player. Wow.
Yeah. Oh man. It's so yeah, we're all about the Hutch. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be a fun game for me to watch personally, because I'm a Lions fan, and I'll be hoping for them to finish within 6, and maybe they'll win it. Crazier things have happened.
For real. Yeah, I think that's a good lean.
And then my next lean is Houston +2.5 in Chicago. Now, I'm just not impressed with Chicago. They got that first win week 1 in the deluge, when it was just like they were just playing in a slip and slide, essentially.
Right.
Now, I don't think I'm not taking that. I'm taking that as a grain of salt. I'm not really considering that as a win. What I've seen from Chicago is a bunch of fluky luck when it comes to them scoring. Fields isn't a great passer. Mooney is like non-existent. If you go back to last year, Mooney's best numbers weren't with Fields. They were with Dalton.
Yeah.
So he's not using his pass catchers. Nobody's getting fed. Cole Kmet, what the hell happened to Cole Kmet? He was supposed to be a breakout. Everybody was singing the praises of Cole Kmet, and he's had 0-point games. Like, where is Cole Kmet? Why aren't you using him? He's got talent. Use him. David Montgomery got a lot of work during the Water Bowl, but
right.
Houston's defense has been showing up.
Well, last week he got a lot of work too, but 2/3 of it, so Khalil Herbert isn't making an impact. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's very disappointing. I mean, they were a bad team that you were really hoping could make it happen, but no,
they're just not. Coaching hasn't been great.
Mm-mm.
There's not a lot that I can point to on that team that I'm excited about, or that I think that they deserve an advantage for. I think the only reason they have an advantage, they got a 3-point bump because it's at home. And I think there's going to be a lot of boos for Chicago Bears by the end of this game. I would put money on that. I at least
feel okay
a few
about
rounds of
Montgomery. That's the only player on there that I'm like, okay, at least he's getting the ball. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ugh.
And Houston has been underrated for a while now. Brandon Cooks is the
Yeah.
best receiver on that field.
I've been saying
I
that.
mean, General Mills has been, he's been a great quarterback for what his expectation was for coming in as a backup, really.
Yeah.
After
Well, I
Watson
mean,
was,
last
yeah,
year,
like,
yeah, he did well.
yeah. And I think he's underrated. I mean, their first game tying oh my God, it was, don't sleep on Houston. They've got a lot of bad name hate, essentially, because it's the Houston Texans, they suck, right? No, I'm taking Houston plus 2.5 against Chicago. I'd like to buy that third
Pierce
point
is
if I
going
can.
to do something this game.
I do. I think he's going to get more work. I think Burkhead has been shown to be phased out as last game is clear evidence for.
Right.
So I'm hoping Pierce really breaks out. I saw a couple explosive rushes from him. I'm hoping he strings those together and really, but it's not going to be an exciting game, I don't think. But I think Houston is a smart money here. Well, that's going to be us for today. We wish you good luck on your bets weekend, and also I wish myself good luck on this. I think that's probably bad luck, but hoping my best bets cash this week.
I'll wish you luck.
Thanks.
But yeah, good luck to everybody out there. Let's hope you make some cash this weekend and enjoy the football games. Last night was so enjoyable. If you like Cleveland and hate Pittsburgh. But, all right. Well, have a good one. Right. Thanks, Logan.
See you.